Happy Sunday, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Elan's Matchup Maximizer, a podcast presented by Keeping Karlsson, where I, Elan Dubrovsky, look at next week's schedule and try to figure out who are the best players to stream in based on how many games you'll get from, of course, players that we think are going to actually do something. I think this is going to be the season finale of Matchup Maximizer for this season. We've got 2 weeks left in the NHL schedule. A lot of leagues are already finished, including all of the Keeping Karlsson Ultra Patron Fantasy League. So congrats in advance to everyone who's won their division there. What a grueling season. But yeah, there are still other leagues outside of the couple, believe it or not. And some of you probably are going into finals and maybe a 2-week matchup. So I don't know. How about this? Tweet at Keeping Karlsson, or if you're a patron, let me know in the Discord if you want an episode also for the following week, and I could probably make something happen, but I just don't want to do it if no one's going to listen. But I've got one ready to go right now, and it is a pretty wild schedule week coming up for this week of April 3rd to April 9th. Basically, you've got Thursday and Saturday as busy as they can be. Like, there is probably no chance, unless you're in a league with no bench spots, like you're not streaming someone in on either of those days. Or maybe if it's like one of those situations where you only have 3 defensemen for 4 D spots, obviously any D you stream in will play, or maybe you have 4 defensemen for 4 D spots. You just happen to have one of them being like Evan Bouchard, and Edmonton doesn't play on Thursday. So maybe a D, but yeah, it's going to be really hard to stream in for Thursday, Saturday, and probably Tuesday as well. Tuesday's like, I guess, a little bit on the fringe. 22 teams playing, so 11 games. Maybe you'll be able to get someone in on a Tuesday, depending on how your lineup shakes out. And then you have really sparse, light Monday, Wednesday, and Sunday, and actually no games even on Friday at all. And yeah, we're looking at 3 games Monday, 3 games Wednesday, and only 2 games Sunday. So this is going to be a pretty easy episode here in terms of telling you which teams to stream from, because most teams are just going Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and that's it. So we don't need to talk about them, but I guess, yeah, we'll take a look at those teams playing on those few off-day games, starting with the team that always seems to have a good schedule and have a lot of off-day games. That's the Anaheim Ducks, and they end the season just like usual. They have the most off-day games. If we're not counting Tuesday as a light day, then yeah, Anaheim's the only team that plays 2 times, not on busy days. That's Wednesday and Sunday. They get Edmonton on Wednesday, and then Anaheim plays Arizona on Saturday, and then Colorado on Sunday. So as per usual, we can take a look at the Ducks roster and see if we see anyone worth streaming in here. The Ducks are actually playing right now also against Edmonton, just like that next game that they're going to have on Wednesday. Currently, they are losing 1-0. I'm recording this on Saturday night. Zach Hyman has scored a goal, assisted by Ekholm. But anyways, you don't care about Edmonton right now, though. Edmonton does have an off-day game next Wednesday. So if Matthias Ekholm is still out there, sneak peek, he's probably a good guy to grab. He's also had a decent amount of power play time today. I like Ekholm. He went a little bit cold after that big first few games, but I'm still into him as a long-term piece there in Edmonton. But looking at Anaheim, okay, are they going to score goals? I don't know. Troy Terry is still out. Henrique is still out. I'm going to assume they're not going to be there. Looking at the lines today, Zegras is back playing with Vetrano and Ryan Strome, McTavish with Max Comtois and Max Jones, and then I guess the third line is newcomer Nikita Nesterenko with Lundestrom and Jacob Silfverberg. If we're looking at like who is available that has been doing something lately, Jacob Silfverberg, we can't ignore this guy, right? He had assists in 3 straight games going into today. We'll see how he does in today's game versus Edmonton. But for a chance at a point, I'd give it a coin flip at this point for Silfverberg. He seems to be, getting on the score sheet. Kevin Shattenkirk recently had a couple games with a couple of assists, but pointless lately. But at least he's been getting a lot of blocks. He had 5 blocks in the previous game versus Seattle. So if you just want to grab some peripherals, these are guys that are available in 5% of leagues or fewer. In terms of like players in decent spots that are cold, I mean, you could go Ryan Strome, who's just had such a dismal season. But if he is playing with Trevor Zegras, I like that. So I don't know. I'm not super excited about Anaheim in general. Of course, Cam Fowler has gone back to being absolutely nothing, just like he always does. There was that stretch, in the middle of March where he started getting going again. But yeah, he's back to doing nothing. But of course, that just means there's a chance. Like, he's still on the top power play. So I guess you can also go Cam Fowler. But yeah, if you want 2 off-day games, you got to go to Anaheim. But if you have room on Tuesday, that makes things a little bit easier. We get a little bit more flexibility. So next up, let's look at some teams I would say the next best schedules are the 3 teams that are playing on Monday, Tuesday, because if you have Tuesday open, you can get 2 games to start the week. So those teams are the Vegas Golden Knights, the Seattle Kraken, and the Nashville Predators. Okay, so I think we're going to be able to find some gold here. And again, it's like still going to be valuable to you even just to get that Monday game because there's so few off-day games this week. But if you also have room on the Tuesday, yeah, then you're definitely happy. And let's start over in Nashville because they just had an awesome win today against St. Louis, winning 6-1. And if we look at the box score here, the big contributors were my guy, Tommy Novak, who I added in my Dynasty League, I don't know, a couple months back. I should go find the exact date. That's like one of my best ads I've ever made, I think. Like, this is a league super deep. It's like, if you want to get someone like a good young player, you need to get a draft pick. But not here. I was able to get Tommy Novak, and he's turning into a real stud. A goal and 3 assists today versus St. Louis to keep his awesome streak going. And also, Luke Evangelista was in on a lot of those goals. He had a goal and 2 assists. So, yeah, if Tommy Novak, that would be my pick for sure. If he's still available to you, then, I mean, yeah, he'll be great for that Monday, Tuesday, right? Novak is up to 10% rostered on Yahoo, so still available in a bunch of leagues. He was, I guess, a little bit cold before, but yeah, he's on this line with Sherwood and Evangelista, which I guess is the top line. You know, it's tough to say with everyone injured, with Forsberg and Duchesne. Both out, I guess. Yeah, I'd call that the top line. And so, yeah, any of Novak, Evangelista, or Sherwood could be interesting. Then Novak is playing on the top power play with Evangelista, Tomasino, and Cody Glass. And, you know, Cody Glass scored a goal in this game today. Phil Tomasino also scored a goal. So I'd say take anyone on that top power play, which includes Tyson Barrie, by the way, if he's out there. Definitely, I would also be interested in Barrie. So yeah, lots of options there in Nashville that are getting great deployment. There might be guys you've never heard of, but doesn't mean they can't help you out. So again, that's Novak, Evangelista, Tomasino, Glass, and then if you can't get any of those, or if you specifically want to target hits, then maybe you go Kiefer Sherwood, who isn't on the top power play. He's on the second power play, and but he's playing on that line with Novak and Evangelista, which I think is the top line. And yeah, Sherwood is great for hits. He had a game with 6 hits a couple games ago. He's had a bunch of 5-hit games. This game versus St. Louis, only 2 hits, but he did have a shot and an assist to go along with it. So yeah, lots of great streaming options there on Nashville. Also with the Monday, Tuesday, you know what that means? Kevin Lankinen is probably going to get a game. Nashville plays against Dallas on Monday, then Vegas on Tuesday. You know, play Lankinen at your own risk, but he has not been the goalie that maybe I thought he could be, or even earlier this season. He's kind of, blown up a couple games. Let's next go to the Seattle Kraken, who play Monday against the Coyotes and then Tuesday against Vancouver. Vancouver has totally swapped now. They were a team for a long stretch of the season where you definitely want to pick guys against because, their goaltending was terrible. The defense was terrible. But now Demko has come in and has been really good. So I don't know about that Tuesday game, but you think Seattle's going to be able to do something at least on the Monday against Arizona. And as per usual, Seattle is a team that you should be able to stream people in from because they have Vince Dunn, totally unavailable in all leagues. Adam Larson, I guess, is also rostered in 60% of leagues because of his peripherals. And he's just had a really good season overall also for points. Jared McCann has become unreachable with the fantastic goal-scoring season he's had, but everyone else is 33% rostered or less. So that includes Matty Beniers, that includes Eberle, Yanni Gourde, Bjorkstrand, Eli Tolvanen, Jaden Schwartz, Wenberg. These are all guys in good spots that could feasibly get you some points. If you want to look at the lines for today's game, which is also like still going right now versus LA, it always happens. The best schedules next week. I'd love to just be able to give you full results here, but yeah. So right now, this game of Seattle versus LA. Let me get to the official check here. Yeah, it's 0-0 at the end of the first. We're not getting too much info, but we can get those lines, which are always handy. So it's been Beniers, McCann, and Eberle as your top line there. And then I guess you'd call Schwartz, Wenberg, and Geeky is a line, and then Bjorkstrand, Gourde, and Tolvanen. I don't know what you'd call the second line, the third line there. Then the top power play, they've played a full 2 minutes so far today, is McCann, Tolvanen, Wenberg, Bjorkstrand, and Vince Dunn. So very interesting. No Beniers and no Eberle on the top power play, at least today. And I'd assume the Vince Dunn unit is the top unit. So I mean, again, I'm telling you names. I don't really. Okay, let me tell you who's hot lately. How about that? And then that could maybe give you the gist of who you may want to go for. Of these guys that I just mentioned, Jaden Schwartz has been really good lately. He had goals in 2 straight going into today. He's also had shots, like 4 shots versus Anaheim in the game. This is before this game versus LA. 6 shots in the game before that versus Minnesota. So Jaden Schwartz, obviously like super streaky. He's been really tough to peg this season with all those days where he was injured. But anyway, he seems good now. He's not on this top power play that I just mentioned, but he's red hot. So if you want to see bank on him, keeping that going, he's a good pick. Eli Tolvanen had 2 goals in a win against Nashville. Since then, he's only had 1 shot, no points in his next couple games. We'll see how he does today. He's also great for hits, though. So especially in a categories league with hits, Tolvanen is really solid because he's a good bet to get you a goal, at least 1 goal, let's say, in this whole week. By the way, Seattle plays Monday, Tuesday, and then Thursday, Saturday. Same with Nashville and same with Vegas, who we'll get to. So again, we're kind of targeting that Monday, Tuesday because you're probably, like I said, full on the Thursday, Saturday. But yeah. So have I given you a pick on Seattle? Like who? Look, here's my pick. I'll say Jaden Schwartz because he's hot, but I will also probably say you want to get Bjorkstrand, Wenberg, or Tolvanen because they're on the top power play playing with Vince Dunn, who's been like having such a great season himself. So hopefully one of those hits for you. But yeah, take a look at which Seattle Kraken you can get. And then, okay, let's finish off of these Monday, Tuesday teams over in Vegas. Yet another team that is still playing right now as we speak, though they're winning 2-1 against Minnesota after the first on goals from Ben Hutton and Zach Whitecloud. So I'm probably not going to recommend those guys, but the assists have gone to Eichel, Pietrangelo, and Chandler Stevenson. So maybe those are guys you're going to want to look at. So, okay, so on Vegas here, you're not going to get Eichel, Pietrangelo, Shea Theodore, Marchessault. Stevenson is rostered in 57% of leagues, which I don't really get why he hasn't been so great, but he does have now assists in 3 straight games after this point today. So I guess Stevenson has picked things up. So if you want to take a look at Chandler Stevenson, if he was dropped, I know he was dropped in one of my leagues and I streamed him in and even dropped him myself a couple weeks ago. Stevenson's been playing on a line with Kessel and Amadio. I don't know, not especially exciting, right? So I think probably you're going to want to look to grab someone playing with Eichel, especially Eichel and Marchessault. And that guy is Ivan Barbashev, who is not only in a good spot, but also hot. He has points in 4 straight games going into today. So I think I'd have to just say Barbashev. Of those, I mean, I love those Nashville guys. I mean, it's hard not to like Tommy Novak, but probably if I'm going to pick one player from the Monday, Tuesday that might be available to you, gotta go Barbashev, right? Though he is 28% rostered, so not as low as some of those others. So yeah, for good reason. If you could get Barbashev, top line, playing with Eichel, I would definitely do it because Eichel is really heating up. And so is Marchessault. Like that line overall has been really good lately. Another guy who's been pretty decent is Nick Roy, who came back from injury and has looked really good. He had 2 goals, like a goal in 2 straight games right after coming back, then pointless versus Edmonton, but 5 shots. Then he had an assist versus San Jose. And that brings us to today versus Minnesota, where we'll see how he does. So Roy's been playing on a line with William Karlsson and Paul Cotter. He's been getting some power play time. So yeah, that's another good pick for you, I think, if you want to grab someone over on Vegas to get that Monday, Tuesday. And then, like I mentioned with Lankinen, you always want to take a look at these teams playing a back-to-back for a potential goalie stream. So going back to Nashville, I said Lankinen. So you're looking at Seattle, probably Grubauer and Martin Jones will each get a game. Martin Jones has gotten a couple in a row now after Grubauer blew up earlier in the week. So I don't know. I probably would be scared for the game against Vancouver, but maybe you want to grab whoever gets the Monday versus Arizona. That I guess would be Grubauer since Jones is playing today. Obviously, wait for the goalie start announcement. And then Vegas has, I mean, they've had so many goalies injured, but I believe the healthy ones now are Brossoit and Jonathan Quick. So those are games against Minnesota and Nashville. So you can decide if you want to grab one of those guys if they're available to get a goalie game. So yeah, those are all the teams playing Monday, Tuesday, and then also Anaheim with those 2 off days. Not including Tuesday. So I think we'll take a quick break and then I'll look at the remaining off day games that you may want to be interested in. So we'll be back soon. You're listening to the Matchup Maximizer. All right, I am back. Thank you for listening. And yeah, I'm trying to help you out here on who you can stream in and get games from next week, but it's really sparse. At this point, now that we've covered the Monday, Tuesday guys and Anaheim, I guess maybe the next teams to look at would be just the ones playing on Monday, at least. You get an early week stream, especially if you're listening to this on Sunday and you still have a move left. Might as well go and grab a game for Monday, and then you could reassess the teams I haven't talked about yet who are in that spot. So you've got Arizona going Monday, Thursday, Saturday. So again, this will just be for Monday. Dallas also Monday, Thursday, Saturday, and Minnesota Monday, Thursday, Saturday. So sure, let's take a look at who I want to recommend for you for those 3 games. I guess we can start over in Arizona. We are finally at a point where Barrett Hayton, should not be available in your league. And I don't even want to talk about Nick Schmaltz and why he's not rostered in more leagues. But yeah, Schmaltz is up to 45. Hayton is up to 42. So I think it's probably, too late for those guys finally, as it should be, right? But there's still some people in decent spots. You've got Travis Boyd, who's still been on that top power play with, of course, Keller and then Schmaltz, Hayton, and Yusuf Valimaki. So if you want to forward, go Travis Boyd. I guess side point, Yusuf Valimaki, definitely someone you want to grab, especially if you can fit in a defenseman on Thursday. That would be great. Saturday, every single team is playing, so you literally could only fit in a defenseman if you only have, not all your defenseman spots filled. But yeah, Valimaki is quarterback in that top power play, scored a goal in that last game versus Dallas. We'll see how he does today versus San Jose. That's another game that is still going, San Jose versus Arizona. But yeah, Valimaki is good, and Boyd to get on that top power play. And then some players that are just on hot streaks that you may want to look at. Matias Michelli has been going. He has an assist today. He also scored 2 goals a couple games back against Edmonton and a goal versus Colorado. Finally taking some shots. For a lot of the season, he was barely shooting at all. But he had 5 shots in that loss to Edmonton. So that's pretty good. And then also let me mention Lawson Krause. He's 29% rostered. So if you can get him, he kind of runs hot and cold. He had a 3-assist game in that game versus Edmonton as well. Also just a solid bet for hits. Jack McBain was a popular ad for a lot of people, and he's really delivered in terms of the hits. No points in the last game versus Dallas, but before that he had points in a couple straight games. And yeah, the hits, he has 2 hits already today in this game versus San Jose after just the first period. So definitely if you want to get that category, then McBain is your guy. So yeah, lots of options here that could be interesting to you over on Arizona. Next up, I guess let's go to Dallas, who, like I said, also Monday, Thursday, Saturday. Dallas is a very challenging team to stream from. As we've discussed, they generally get the large majority of their offense from that top line and that top power play. And obviously, you're not going to be able to get Pavelski, Hintz, Robertson, or Jamie Benn, or Miro Heiskanen. So who else do you want? I don't know. Tyler Seguin, I guess. He did score a goal in today's game versus Colorado, which is also still going. He also scored a couple games ago versus Chicago. So Seguin, not doing nothing. So I definitely would consider him for Monday if you can get him versus Nashville. Hopefully Nashville plays Lankinen in that game. That would be your best bet if it's against UC Saros, who's quietly putting together just an incredible season, which we've barely talked about. So yeah, against Saros, obviously, you still maybe take the chance. It's not as if Saros gets shutouts every game. But yeah, Seguin is a decent bet, and his line has been himself, of course, with Max Domi and Ty Dellandrea. So Max Domi obviously was looking really good over in Chicago. Not as great in Dallas as we would have expected, but he did have points in 2 straight games going into today. We'll see how he does in the end of this game versus Colorado. So yeah, I'd say Seguin or Max Domi are pretty good streams, and then if you can't get them, you could take a look at a Dodonov or a Wyatt Johnston. Both could be good picks. Wyatt Johnston's super cold. Dodonov started really well, also super cold. So yeah, I definitely would take a Seguin and then a Max Domi first. And then if you wanted a defenseman, by the way, Esa Lindell has been really hot lately. He had 2 assists in the win over Arizona and 1 assist in the game before that versus Chicago. And he also is usually a decent enough source for hits and blocks. We get a couple blocks probably in that first game or maybe over the first couple games. So not amazing, but not terrible. So yeah, that's Dallas. And then finally, Minnesota, where it continues to be the Matt Boldy show. He's just been so incredible since Kaprizov went down. So that means I continue to be interested in the guy on his line that is still not rostered in too many leagues, and that is Marcus Johansson. Johansson now is up to 5% rostered. And yeah, just get him. We'll see. I get another game. Are all the games still happening for some reason? I don't know. But before today's game versus Vegas, in the previous game, Johansson scored a goal versus Colorado, 2 assists in the game before that. Marcus Johansson is hot. Definitely worth the stream on Monday versus Vegas if you can get him, just because he's playing with Boldy, who's been incredible. And obviously Joel Eriksson and Boldy both not available to you. Ryan Hartman should say holding his own points in four straight, I should say, going into today with decent shot numbers. So Hartman is someone, if you want to grab someone not playing with Boldy, not too terrible to be playing with Foligno and Matt Zuccarello. And Hartman's also been on a power play, which I guess is the second unit with Foligno, Sundqvist, and Gaudreau, because Marcus Johansson took Hartman's spot. So I'll still take Marcus Johansson over Ryan Hartman. Definitely Hartman is someone worth considering. And then I guess if we go, because Hartman's rostered in 41% of leagues, Johansson in 5%. Aside from those guys, if you want to go to Minnesota, Marcus Foligno has been on this. I guess it's no longer the top line, but the line with Zuccarello would be a good spot if Kaprizov is also there. But of course, it's Marcus Foligno, who is not as good, but he's good for hits. So at least grab him for that, and maybe he can luck into a point. He hasn't recently, though, so probably not a good bet. And then, you could get Klingberg or Spurgeon. If either of them are available and you need D, Spurgeon's rostered in 64% of leagues and Klingberg 39%. So unlikely, but they're both like manning the two power plays and get a good amount of ice time. So those would be your choices for Monday games. Yeah, so that covers all of them, right? There's Arizona, Dallas, Minnesota, Nashville, Seattle, and Vegas. Those are all the teams playing on Monday. And then, like I said, Tuesday's pretty busy. Wednesday, if you want to grab a team that I haven't mentioned yet, we've got Edmonton playing against Anaheim. That could be a decent chance to score some goals. If you're going to Edmonton, I guess I already mentioned that I like Matthias Ekholm as someone who's still available in a lot of leagues. Aside from him, Edmonton's, of course, always a difficult team to stream from. We just basically are going to go and take a look and see who's playing with McDavid. Ekholm, I should mention, 45% rostered. So I think you're probably running out of time to get him, or you've already missed your chance, which is fine. In today's game versus Anaheim, they've been rolling with McDavid, Hyman, and RNH, and then Draisaitl with Evander Kane and Kaylor Yamamoto. So I guess Yamamoto, once again, I guess he actually has points in 4 straight games. So I guess maybe I need to stop it. This is kind of like when Fowler went hot and I didn't want to recommend him, but it's hard not to. But yeah, I guess Edmonton is going to go Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday. So especially if you have an opening on Tuesday, I mentioned some guys that play Monday, Tuesday. I'd probably go Barbashev. But aside from him, maybe you do consider Yamamoto playing with Draisaitl and you get them Monday, no Monday, but then Tuesday versus LA and then Wednesday versus Anaheim. The Rangers also play Wednesday, but not on Tuesday. So if you want to just grab someone now and wait all the way till Wednesday, I guess you would have had to with Anaheim, but at least then you'd also get the Sunday game. But yeah, the Rangers go Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and then Tampa Bay goes Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and then Winnipeg just Wednesday, Saturday. So yeah, you could take a look at a Rangers player, Tampa or Winnipeg. Tampa has been loading up that top line lately. In the game today against the Islanders, they went Stamkos, Kucherov point together, which of course brings down the value of pretty much everyone else except for Alex Killorn, who's been on the top power play. Killorn, 38% rostered. He's been really good for a little while now. So if you can get Killorn, go for it and get that Wednesday game versus the Rangers. Though against Shesterkin, you never know, but he's probably your best bet. There hasn't really been anyone else too hot on this team, aside from, of course, the defenseman Sergachev has also been really good lately. But yeah, I guess we can mention Eric Chernak, who had points in 2 straight games before this win versus the Islanders. He's also really good for peripherals. So if your league counts peripherals, Chernak could be a good bet if he's not taken already. And then what did I mention? Winnipeg here. Yeah, Winnipeg has been, playing around with the lines a little bit. Blake Wheeler was super cold for a while. Scheifele was super cold. Everyone was super cold. They finally had a good game. And so who knows? In that last game versus Detroit, so it was Scheifele, Dubois, and Connor, and then Ehlers, Nemesnikov, and Wheeler. So of the guys that might be available to you, Niederreiter, I didn't even mention him. Niederreiter down on a line with Adam Lowry and Mason Appleton. So he's fallen quite a bit. He was looking like top line, top power play for a bit. But yeah, I don't know if I'm going to recommend Nino. I don't know. I'm still kind of worried about Winnipeg overall for this game against Calgary. I don't know if you want to grab someone now for that. But if come Wednesday you want to grab someone, then yeah. For the super deep cut, you go Nemesnikov, who has been on a good line, but hadn't had 2 assists in that last game versus Detroit. So that's not nothing. But yeah, grab a Nino. Definitely grab a Wheeler. I say definitely as if he's so amazing, but I'd grab a Wheeler if you can get him. He's probably in free agency in a lot of leagues, and he did have 4 shots in that game where he finally broke out and had that goal and assist versus Detroit. Before that, though, he had 3 shots, 5 shots. So Wheeler's always a threat to do something even when he's cold. So that would be your pick there. And then the Rangers, I guess, to finish off that collection of guys playing on Wednesday. They're so stacked. I mean, you grab someone from the kid line. That's the only line that you're going to find someone available from. You're not going to get Kane, Trocheck, Panarin, or Tarasenko, Kreider, and Zibanejad. So yeah, maybe Hedel, Kakko, or Lafreniere could be good. You could take your pick of those three. So I think that's going to do it for this episode of the Matchup Maximizer. There's like a huge slate of games coming up tomorrow on Sunday. So I think you don't need my help to pick a Sunday savior. There's like 9 games. You'll definitely find some free agents that are looking good. Just make sure to check, gamedaytweets.com. Check the line combinations. Make sure the guy you stream in is someone in a good spot. If they're on a hot streak or not, maybe it doesn't matter, right? You just want someone in a good spot who could potentially score. So yeah, hopefully if you are in a league that goes to next week so that this information could be valuable to you. I hope it will end up being valuable to you in that you'll make it to your finals and then you'll pick someone good. I'd love to hear who you stream or if you end up adding someone based on what I've mentioned here. So again, tweet at us at Keeping Karlsson, hit me up in the Discord. If you're a patron, you can become a patron by going to keepingkarlsson.com/patron. We've started our summer promotion, so just $1 a month gets you access to all of our perks, including, of course, joining our patron community. If you're a patron right now and you didn't know about that, yeah, we messaged. Where were you? But yeah, you can if you want. You could basically pledge whatever you're comfortable with over the summer. We're going to keep the content coming though over the summer, and also even just this week. Brian and I are going to have yet another mega show coming up tomorrow, which I'm going to start prepping for now as I finish recording this, and that's going to be a lot of fun. And we're still going to have some short shifts. So yeah, make sure you're subscribed to Keeping Karlsson to get everything. And then once the summer starts, we're going to have our Beat Writer series, which I definitely need to get to work on. So yeah, a lot of work happening here. Don't you worry. And I hope that you enjoyed this episode. Thanks again. See you at the mega show tomorrow. And yeah, good luck. Keep maximizing those matchups. Win those championships. See ya.